Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Best Games Period. I'm by myself this week. I'm Jeremy Brown, so that means Jack and Daniel are not here. I miss you fellas. So we're going to do an honorable mention episode as we've done a few times in the past. This is my first time trying to do an honorable mention episode, so I'm sure I'm going to be pretty awkward and hopefully entertaining still. This week we are going to talk about the mobile and PC game You Must Build a Boat. Or I'm going to talk about it, I should say. You get to listen. Lucky you. Haha. So what is You Must Build a Boat? We normally don't talk about mobile games on this show. I'm not sure that we ever actually have discussed one as a best games period. So it's kind of fitting for an honorable mention. And if you're not sure what an honorable mention is, it's a game that one of us feels is a pretty great game. Maybe not a game that could be considered as a best games period. Maybe not a game that would justify having its own entire episode for whatever reason. So that's why we talk about it by ourselves. Usually it's a game that the others haven't played. That also comes into it quite a bit. So what is You Must Build a Boat? You Must Build a Boat is a, like I said, mobile PC game. It was released on iOS, Android, Windows, and OS X on June 4th of 2015. It was developed by 88 Games, which is run by a gentleman named Luca Redwood, and I'm pretty sure he did most of the work on the game. It's a sequel to his first game, which is called 10 Million. Very similar gameplay to that game. They're both worth playing, so if you get the chance, I would definitely recommend getting both of them. It's not expensive. I think it's $3 on the App Store and Google Play, and I think it might be $5 on Steam. I think it has incredibly high replay value. The game itself is deeper than you might think it is. It's an action role-playing game. There's lots of things you can do to get replay value out of it, such as just trying to beat your fastest time. There's lots of different upgrades you can get, lots of secrets in it. So for me, it just had me coming back time and time again to try to improve upon those things and unlock all the things that the game has to offer. It was pretty well received critically. It's currently got a 4.1 rating on the App Store, 4.5 on Google Play, and 9 out of 10 on Steam. It was reviewed by several games journalists, which I know is becoming more and more commonplace for mobile games, but it's still kind of neat to see. Game Informer Brian Vore gave it a 9 out of 10. So the concept of the game is, like I said, it's a sequel to 10 Million, and in 10 Million you have to escape this dungeon, and it doesn't really say for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's the same character, and after you escape the dungeon, you wake up on this boat, and you're in pretty calm waters. The concept of the game is to sail to the end of the world map. To do that, you have to build up your boat by progressing through different levels, because as you go, the waters get rougher, and you can only advance so far until you have your boat built big enough to get all the way to the end. So basically, you have to start off with a little lifeboat, so to speak, and by the time you're done, if you do everything that you can do, you'll have a big ship that can sail all the way around the world, I suppose, if you wanted it to. So the way it works is you start off on the first level, which is, fairly easy. It's really more of a tutorial level, and you just start in your boat going downstream until you can't go any further, and it takes you into a dungeon of sorts. So the gameplay is pretty unique. I've never played a game like it before this. Your character is on the top of the screen, and he's all the way to the left. And if you get all the way to the left, basically off the screen, that's when that level ends. It's not a game you can lose. It even says so in the opening parts of the game. You just keep trying and trying and trying. And one thing that's great about it is that it's not like other mobile games, iOS games, where it might be fun, but to be able to advance, you either got to spend some sort of money on extra lives or bug your friends on Facebook or whatever. This one, it's just you pay $3 and you can play it as many times as you want. So I really like that about this game. There's not a whole lot of games that I've played on my phone that offer that. Just one price, especially that low of a price, and you can play it continuously, nonstop. So your character is on the left of the screen. There's obstacles to the right, and the top of the screen just starts moving at a pretty fast pace, and you're running along the top of the dungeon, and you can come across several different obstacles. Generally speaking, monsters, chests, and also traps that can appear that can weaken you or sometimes freeze you, and you have to unlock those traps by matching the right tiles, which are at the bottom of the screen. Now, on the bottom of the screen, there's a grid that has several different tiles in it, and you have to match 3 tiles to be able to break them, which either opens up an attack or helps to unlock something or gets you some materials you need later on in the game to be able to recruit monsters and do other sorts of things. So as long as you're breaking tiles, particularly the right ones, you're good to go. The idea is to see how far you can make it through a dungeon before you get pushed all the way to the left of the screen. Like I said, you can't lose, you just keep going, keep trying. So the different types of tiles that are on the bottom of the screen are the staff, which is your magic attack. Different monsters, have different vulnerabilities, so sometimes the magic attacks don't work as well on some things as they would others. And the sword, which is your physical attack, and that's kind of the same thing as the staff. There are locks, key tiles, which unlock the chests, which you can get gold and other stuff out of. Some chests require multiple locks, in fact most do. And when you get to these things, when you get to a monster or a chest, you stop moving, but the screen is still moving to the left. So you have to be able to get past those things before you get pushed all the way off the screen. Other types of tiles that there are what I call brain and brawn. You break those and it unlocks either brain power or brawn power. Maybe it's called strength, I'm not entirely sure. Which you can use once you get to a certain point in the game to be able to recruit monsters. And as you recruit monsters, they give you a little bit of a bonus, which helps you get through the game, especially at the higher levels, which can get pretty challenging and pretty difficult. Other tiles that they have are shields. So if you match 3 shields in a row, it'll give you a shield that'll help you minimally to prevent you from being pushed off the screen. And also crates, which are generally empty. By breaking those, you don't really get anything. You have a small chance of getting some sort of bonus that appears on your tile screen. But it helps if you're stuck somewhere, like if you can't match enough locks to get past or find enough attack tiles, then if you break the crates, it'll move all the tiles, so it gives you a little better opportunity to advance. So you're really kind of watching the top of the screen while matching tiles on the bottom of the screen. I believe there are 10 different dungeons, areas, waters, whatever you want to call them, that you go to, and they each have, 5 or 6 levels in those, and again, they get progressively harder. As you build up your ship, as you get through the levels, there's merchants that come on board, and you can buy things from them, upgrade, do all sorts of things. There's a guy that comes on board that offers you challenges, and you can kind of gamble and do those. And if you win, you get, your investment back. It's called an investment plus. If you lose, then you lose the amount of the gold that you invested in it. There's not a whole lot more to it than that, and it's hard for me to explain exactly why I think it's so deep, but I'm going to give it a shot. I found myself just wanting to beat my quickest times, and also wanting to recruit all the monsters. And I think there are 39 monsters in the game, and most of them just come naturally as you play through the game, but there are, I want to say, 6 or 7 that are secret, and you have to do certain things to be able to unlock those. And maybe that's why I played it so many times, was trying to figure that out. Most monsters are in a set group of monsters where there's usually 2, 3, or 4. And if you unlock that entire group, then you get a pretty big bonus for various things. And they help you, again, advance in the harder stages of the game. The brain and brawn that I mentioned earlier, that's what you use to recruit the monsters. So you have to collect those and gather those. And again, as you build your ship, you get more crew and more people appear. And one of the people that appear is the person that is responsible for monster recruiting. And you have to cash in your brain and brawn to be able to recruit the monsters. So that's how that works. It's fun. Give it a shot. When you get to the end of the world map, you have an option of starting the game over at a higher level. You lose all of your upgrades and everything. It's more challenging, and you can do that as many times as you want. I played until I was on, it's called Ace level when you start over, I played till I was on Ace level 7. And there's a couple characters that'll show up towards the end of your first run, so to speak, that you're not really sure what they're for, but if you play the game longer, you'll find out what they're for. They do offer a little something to it. They're not just there to look at. It's not an incredibly gorgeous game by any stretch, but it's fun. It works really well. I didn't have any issues with it performing the way that it seems like it should perform. It was something that I could waste time with. You can pick it up for just a few minutes and play, as long as you can. And again, it's not a game you really lose at, so you don't lose progress, you don't lose anything like that if you can't dedicate 20 minutes to it at once. You can literally play it 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time. And it's inexpensive, so I think it's well worth the price. Those of you that maybe have to commute on a train or something like that, I think it's a great game for that sort of stuff. Or just sitting at home and playing it during commercial breaks while you're watching TV. Or, I'll say it, like a lot of people, when you go to the bathroom, bring it in there and you can knock out a run or two. So, yeah, You Must Build a Boat, again, developed by 88 Games. Luca Redwood is a fun little action role-playing game that offers a lot of pretty deep gameplay elements that a lot of iOS apps don't offer. And again, it doesn't, nickel and dime you to death. It's not one of those that you have to spend money to keep playing. So that's pretty neat. That's pretty unique. Anyway, that's kind of all I got for that game. I do want to talk a little bit about Extra Life. That's coming up. If you're not sure what Extra Life is a gaming charity. It's a pretty great charity, in my opinion, gaming or otherwise. The concept is to play any game you like for 24 hours and try to solicit donations from folks while you play those games. And all the money that you get donated goes directly to a Children's Miracle Network hospital of your choice, 100% of it, to help families and children with illnesses. So it's pretty honorable, which is, I think, fitting for this honorable mentions episode to say. You can play any game. You can do tabletop games, you can play board games, you can play video games, and you really don't even have to play games. You can just donate money if you want to. To find out more about it, go to extra-life.org. We also post all of our shows on community.extra-life.org, so you can find some of our old episodes there if you like. Better episodes, definitely, when the gang's all there. You can also find us on Libsyn. Just search Best Games Period. We're on iTunes. Again, Best Games Period. We'd love to hear from you on iTunes. Rate us and leave a review if you would like. You can find us on Twitter at Best Games Period. We also, I'm pretty sure, have a YouTube account somewhere, and I would imagine searching Best Games Period would help you find that. Definitely consider signing up for Extra Life. If you can't sign up and commit to the full 24 hours, that's okay. Some folks have split it up over a couple of days. Some folks just donate to other people that are doing it. But it's a really fun day. Lots of people stream. Lots of people give away things. It's pretty unique and entertaining. And it's great to see the charity definitely growing as it has the last several years. You should also consider getting the Platinum membership, which gets you a t-shirt, and that money definitely helps the organization as a whole to be able to continue to keep going and raising money for the sick children. Anyway, that's it for this week, I suppose. Again, I'm sorry that it was just me. I'm not the same without the other guys, that's for sure. Anyway, you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you
on the flippity dippity.